Well, I'm bringing you, this is in 10-bit HDR10. It's actually HDR plus, HDR10 plus, but that's my, beside the small talk. What I'm saying is this. I'm having a debate with Chat GPT. I'm telling it, with all the operating systems we have right now, we get the Windows, it's called Windows Client. You're the client, OS. Okay. Then they have Windows Server OS. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about Mac OS. We're talking about Linux OS. We're talking about Chrome OS. Yeah. And then Linux OS, there are so many different variants. It's all open source because it's a work in progress. They gave out the code for free and everybody's chipping in and working on it. There are some that are charging for a full package, and we all know who those are. Okay, I'm not mentioning companies, but I'm just saying, yeah. But the Zorin Pro OS 18, I downloaded it, and nobody, paid me to do anything like to demonstrate or talk about it. I didn't say it's the perfect OS, but what I want to do is see for myself. Could it run it on my 2012 machine with 2432 gig of RAM, 10 core system? Can it run on that? And that's the answer. I'm setting up a video to show my result. But you don't have to pay for these. Are you paying for Windows? They just gave everybody Windows if it had Windows 7 on there before. Or 8. Yeah, 8 wasn't the best version of it, though. I've been running Windows since DOS. I didn't get into it until I was running other operating system, Logic, which came out of Canada. It's program. I was doing more programming. I had the TRS-80, Tandy's. Actually, I used to sell Tandy computers. They hired me as assistant store manager. There were times I ran stores when the manager went away or on vacation. I was like the stand-in, or they did offer me at the end, but I chose to go a different route. I chose to get back into computers and support companies that way, and that's what I did. I did accounts receivable for a major office chain. I worked at a corporate office. Now they're huge now. But what I'm saying is, I went a different route. But what I learned from then and made all these, I was a programmer for a long time too. I wrote C++. I did C++, learned it myself. Um, you have to know QBasic as well. So and then Microsoft use Java and Virtual Basic to make that Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, and all that. They did that. Now I believe they still sell a suite that you have to pay for, and then you have to buy. Then 365 is subscription. But should you buy all of that and do all that when you can get Linux, or not Linux, Libra? I think they have it for Windows. They have to have it for cross platforms. Mac OS, iOS, Chrome OS, Chrome Plus. That's what I have here, and Windows Pro. The girlfriend has Windows Home. I could get that to work. I wanted to try some stuff that I have. I can't tell you what I'm doing, but and a lot of us run not on Windows 11 on non-sanctioned PCs. I have non-sanctioned PCs, but a non-sanctioned PC, but they don't want to support the non-sanctioned PC. They really know what you're running and stuff, and they allowed it. What are they gonna say? No. So a lot of us can't afford to get a new PC, so we are stuck. And a lot of you jump ship and you got the Zorin, and I'm sure you run into those little problems that Linux has. Linux is a work in progress. I mean, For those of you who have got it to work, congratulations. But a lot of people don't want to go in command line interpretation and type out, uh, to install it, to uninstall it, to mount it, to do all those things behind the scene. Where people, that's why Microsoft decided to get people out of DOS, because they had to write command code to do things, run around in there. So they built what you see is what you get, because that was the slogan back then. What you see is what you get. A GUI interface, and that's how Windows started. They created a operating system on top of DOS, like Linux. A lot of these interfaces, like Zorin and Mint and the rest of them, and I think another one's called Pop something. I haven't tried that, but I know I'm going to always run into the same problem. They're using either Ubuntu or the different versions of the Linux operating system. But what I'm saying is the Chrome OS. I have both Chrome OS and Chrome Plus. Chrome Plus is more beefier, faster processor, more cores. Just to make that run regular Linux, I'd have to open it up. I would have to remove the screw if it has a screw. That certain screw got to be removed. You got to flash a hack firmware on it so you can tap into the BIOS. But you're still gonna, it's not gonna be what you want unless you go out and buy a modern PC and run the latest. They'll have the latest features on it. Then you would run into problems with different components. Let's put it that way. Like I'm uploading the video now. When will this be released? It can be released tomorrow or something like that. It's ready made. It's a long video. It's over 30 minutes. Yeah. What happened when I used my own system here? This system here has 3 drives and a CD-ROM. So that's 4. So what happened? How did I install it? You'll see how I did it. And what happened when it was installed? Did it work like they say? So you'll see what happens there. But I guess you understand what happened. But Windows, everybody does Windows because that's what Windows is easy. We don't have to go and run command line code. Once in a while, basically, to have the PowerShell, you still have to do certain things if you want to get things fixed. PowerShell is a little better than the command line code, like the batch. I can write scripts out of batch files. So I write a script in batch files, and then I can use a bat file convert. It's called bat to com to exec, and you can make an exec file out of that. Or you can do it the correct way: build an application, compile it, and then compile it as an exec, and you would have it that way. Or I can make installers. So I used to have my own installer for my apps and stuff like that, which was pretty cool because most companies, they do things a little different. They'll give you a floppy disk, and you would pop it into the computer to image over the server. Or later on, they got the USB drive, and they would build the computer with the USB drive. Then the rest of the files, they'll get it from the server and bring it down there through a script. That was another way of doing it. But I made it fun and easy. I wrote my own script, my own code. You could listen to music, watch a video while imaging the computers. Yeah. Hey. And I used to go to companies when I'm trying to get better contracts. I would say, "Hey, I made this disk." I said, "What's this?" And I brought a computer to show you. You pop this in. You can bring down the server installs. You don't have to run floppy disks or anything. You just pop in a CD, and it'll do it, and it worked perfectly. Or you can do it on the floppy disk still, and the small code will run. They didn't know what I was talking about. That was it was over their head. I designed something that was over their head, but that's how it was back then. I've installed Linux before. It's not the first time. I wanted to see if it could work. I can never get it to work. the way I would want. There was always something with it. It's a shame that companies that try to sell stuff and they're not taking in that fact. You know, how did they get that there? It took a lot of, a lot of dedicated open source uh, programmers to try to figure out the problems. You know, Google Chrome OS it's only good for what? I think it's 10 years. Yeah, 10 years. So if you bought it in 2021, you're looking at 2031 expire. Mine's gonna expire in 2031. The first one, second one in 2020 and 30, wait, 2034. Yeah, uh, which is bad. It's not the perfect laptop. There's a lot of bugs. I'm part of Google I don't know. I forgot how I got into it, but it's called Google Development Program. Hmm. I noticed Chrome 144 beta is now available. It enables CSS state queries and default, allowing developers to apply styles of elements based on the interaction state without JavaScript. JavaScript is such a pain in the neck. Oh my goodness. But if you're good at JavaScript, there's a lot of work for it. But JavaScript can be buggy too. Same thing with regular Java. Um, what's going on here? Android Studio Auto 3 Canary 5 is now available. Introducing the agent mode. Generated UI. Well, anyway, I don't see. They don't talk about anything like that, like the new operating system they're working on. It should show up here. What's this? They got a new AI coming out. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to replace Gemini. Huh. Oh Lord, that's going to be something else. It's available today. Hmm. Oh. Oh. I see what they're doing. I should talk about this in a separate video. But anyway, yeah, really. We're going to talk about what's going on AI wise, and I lost a friend again, another friend. It's a shame, but anyway, well, the AIs are all my friends. But anyway, so the OS conclusion: what should you do? You don't want to run Windows. You might have to go out and buy a computer that's running the operating system that you want, not to have headaches. Old soft off old hardware might not work with the current, might work with the OS somehow, but you might have bugs and you might have things that pop up unexpected, and they're not might be stable. I just don't understand why Zora OS 18 is not running at full speed. My Windows is running at ultra speed, but I know Microsoft got rid of that in 2025 H2. They disable that feature. We can't run it at full power. That's kind of crazy. It's our machine. We paid for it. I always have machines running at full power. Overclock them or like that. You have to be careful of overclocking. AMD processor, that's what I'm using. I'm using Intel processor. I'm using on the Mac. I'm using Intel processor, Intel Core 5, I believe. Even the Chrome OS is using Intel N305. That's 8 cores, 8 threads. It's pretty fast with little 8 gig of RAM in there. I mean, when it works correctly, it's fast. They just upgraded that Chrome OS again. I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy. Linux. The interface looked nice. The Zorin interface looked cool. Looked like it would be fun and easy, but I think they integrated the wrong browser. I have that browser. I wonder if it would do the same thing on this computer. Let's see. No, it doesn't do it. I wonder why. Let's see what this says. Mobile rewards settings. How does this thing update? Yeah, but Brave is running on Chrome. It's Chrome Chromium. It's 1.85118 official bug 64-bit. So that's what's running. But I have it on the computer. I just don't use it. Um, that was the reason why I don't. The girlfriend, she uses it. She has it like crazy. Her machine, we just updated it. Um, she had a lot of problems with it. Kept on overheating. That's the thing with. But she's running Windows 11 Home. I can get her. We can get Pro on that. That's all I'm gonna say. I used to work with a guy. And I was in charge of the project. I said, "What are you doing? You can't do that. I know what you're doing. You know, you can't say what he was doing either. You just got to keep that stuff. Has to keep under wraps. Um, but a lot of you must realize what I mean. That we'll keep that under wraps. Certain things we'll say. Um, so this works in Windows. But what happened when it worked in Zorin? You'll find out when. Oh, this thing's almost finished uploading. 3 minutes. That file's like, I think, 41 gig. Because yeah, it's a shame. There's so much to talk about. I did talk about it under when I was installing the image for Zorin on my computer. I want to know how it would work. Boy, I don't know. But when I did it though, you can't use the SSD for any. It doesn't show up on the Windows. I know that because it's a different form. It's a different way. They it doesn't really show up at all. I had to use my partition magic to get that drive back up and running. Yeah, I didn't show you all of that. Uh, I just ended it there because we were just talking about installing. I want to go and say what I had to do to fix things to get it right. But you'll be able to watch the video, and that's it. Uh, but that's about it. Okay, that's it. There's nothing else. Because, like I said, what do you use your computer for? What's the first thing to do besides turning it on, logging in, put your password in, boom? What do you do? Do you clean it? Because on a Linux, Chrome, Android, Chrome OS, you can clean it. It can be clean. The best one, I'm not promoting them, is that I use for years, is SD Made. SD Made. You can get it you can download it for free, and uh, I guess for little money he wants the full version. Somebody complained and said he already paid for Pro for lifetime, and he didn't understand why he had to pay again. And the author said, "Well, I gotta live," he said. And he did make a good point there. He has to live. You know. So he's charging. He had to change the rules. He's charging for it. The thing is this. You have to understand what you're getting involved with. Unless you buy a PC or Mac or Chromebook or whatever it is running Linux. They have a company, I guess a company makes Linux boxes, and it runs, I think, Pop on it, Linux OS Pop. Okay, and they run that on. Now, I've tried Mint. I didn't care for Mint. I mean, everybody likes their own, And they try to mimic Windows, but it's still Linux on the top. Uh, But Windows, like I said, you all know Windows was not perfect. You've gone through a lot. You have Wi-Fi issues, all kind of problems. And Mac OS is not perfect either. Mac OS, well, the major things with Mac is, well, you have to keep it clean. It has a tendency of having, well, every time you open up something, well, at least at the Mac, you can know something's running. iOS, it's like a gamble. But you get a lot of stuff running in the background. You got to close all that out. You only have so much RAM, and they only give you 5 gigs of storage on the cloud. Chrome, Google, they give you 15. Before they used to give you unlimited, but they kind of wise up there. But that's another story and everything like that. But you see what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm gonna have to lean over to turn off because this is another thing. Recording like this and this higher resolution, you can't. There's certain features. There's certain things I can't do. I guess I have to look like this into it. Yeah, I can, but I don't have really a screen. It's just something made up. So I hope my head didn't get cut off. A lot of you asked me about this. Well, I don't wear one glass. I have a multitude of glasses. We got sunglasses too. Sunglasses. So when you're driving, well, I don't really drive since the accident. So girlfriend does all the driving. But when I was driving, I have certain glasses for driving. Then at night, you can't have sunglasses. So this tells me if the glasses is the same, and I have a whole bunch of these, the same, looks just like it. Some of them have tint. Each one is for computer. They have the blue tint, so your eyes don't get fatigue. So the computer, this is good for the computer, cell phone, reading, or using the computer, or making a video. And then I got another one for like you're driving and you're driving a distance or watching TV from a distance. Yeah, it's like everything. Wow, everything's clear, like that. You can't really use these for the TV unless you're really on top of the TV. Then you can get away with it. I met somebody who was telling me how you have to see the eye doctor, but that's yeah. That's why it's good to ask questions. But hey, thanks a lot of you subscribing. I do appreciate it. Merry Christmas, season greetings, Happy Hanukkah. I think Hanukkah's finished, I believe. I don't know. I don't follow it on there. But, Merry Christmas, season greetings, like that. But Merry Christmas, Santa Claus, all that. There's so much to talk about. But I want to focus on the subject at hand. I always seem to drift. That way it doesn't confuse you that much. I put a little bit into this because it was related to what we're doing. If it's related to what we're doing, then I add it in. But that's about it. It's still uploading. 8 minutes to go. I should talk about fiber. T-Mobile and fiber. Oh. Some other weird stuff happens. We'll talk about that in another video. Oh, I gotta remind the GF about something. Okay. All right. Hey, take care. Enjoy the video. And this kind of video, I rarely make them. It'll take, when I upload it, it takes another day to render for YouTube to render it. And then if you have a QLED TV or whatever you have, it'll come up in the corner, says HDR10. Because when I turned it on, contrast and everything looks so different, Okay. Take care. Okay. All right.